How do you know if you're burning out? What are the signs? What are the symptoms? What are the solutions? Okay, so today's question on Ask Dr. Saira is about burnout. And the question comes from Mel. It's simple. It says, what does burnout look like? What does burnout look like? I'm guessing, Mel, you're asking this question because you or someone you know seems to be burnt out and you want to look at like signs and symptoms. I actually run an entire training program on burnout and self-care. And so I can actually, I'll actually put a link to that in the description. And so you can kind of have a deeper dive into burnout. But here's some of the symptoms, okay? So you feel tired. You feel demotivated. You can start getting kind of cynical and kind of even mean, like feeling kind of mean. And that's not like you. So if you're already a cynical person, but if you're generally kind of an, easygoing or optimistic person, suddenly you start feeling really cynical, start kind of mean, kind of crusty, likely burnout. So I know a lot about burnout. As a mental health professional, we have actually training in how to avoid burnout, because to be able to sit and hold somebody's problems for hours and hours and hours a day, it takes a lot. It takes an emotional toll, right? And so we have to do certain things on a regular basis to make sure that we're protecting our energy. So what does burnout look like? It could look like dead zone. So it could look like you just don't care anymore. You're just kind of over it. You'd rather be doing other things. So for example, in a work situation, okay, if you're burnt out at work because work is so tedious, but as soon as work's over, you're alive again. You've got things, you've got energy, you want to do stuff. Burnout can also feel like you can get physically sick, so you can just get run down, where you're just tired all the time and exhausted. One of the key contributors to burnout is when we're in a mode of sacrifice. So I want to talk to you for a moment about sacrifice versus service. So service is when you're giving wholeheartedly and it's easy and it's filling you up and it's making you feel good. And I mean, most of us have had some experience, unless you're a sociopath, psychopath, maybe not. But everyone else has had some experience of that good feeling that you get when you help someone else. Now, sacrifice is where you're helping someone else, but you're doing it from a place of depleting your own tank, right? So the example that I give in the training, for example, is if you have the saucer and the teacup, right? And so we're drinking our cup of tea. And so the idea is that life is pouring this tea and we drink from the cup, right? Any overflow that life pours, anything left in the saucer, that's what we can give to the people around us. We cannot let other people drink from our cup or we won't have enough energy. So that's what burnout is when we haven't allowed that overflow. We're stretching ourselves too much and we don't have enough energy for our own, tasks to get done. Now we're trying to do all these other tasks. Burnout is really common with, people, especially in Western cultures, where we don't really value downtime that much. And even the downtime, even the vacations are all busy, right? It's and then we're going to see this, and then we're going to go there, and then we don't really give ourselves time to just stare at the wall. And I think one of the blessings in 2020, if you can call it a blessing, is that many of us have had opportunity to find that downtime through working from home or through, changed working conditions, or just taking a restock and reevaluation of, what does my life look like during the COVID pandemic. So if you're feeling burnt out, likely you are. So watch the video on self-care and burnout. Try to find little things to do. So one of the things, again, as a therapist, I have little rituals and routines that I do between every client to ensure that I'm keeping my energy up. So one of the things I do, for example, is I often wear a piece of jewelry, usually some sort of a precious, semi-precious stone. So this is a smoky quartz. Smoky quartz absorbs negative energy, right? And so different stones will have different purposes. And so I'll wear the stone, and then when the day is done, when I'm kind of at the end of my day, I'll take off my jewelry and I'll actually think of it as, okay, I'm removing all of those problems and all of those people. Another technique is something we call cutting the cord, right? So this is a pranic healing technique where, and other traditions use it as well, where you actually imagine, sword and you and the other person connected, and then you just cut the cord. So anything that's still kind of leaking into you can just be eliminated. And I mean, the things that are good, the things that are filling you up, that's great. But it's all of those things that drain us. That's what we want to let go of in order to make sure that we don't get burnt out. So there's a preventative thing that you do, which is making sure you're doing all of these rituals and routines to keep your energy up. And then there's the response, right? Once you are burnt out, what do? Well, take the time. Take some time off. And that means not just time off from work, but time off from here, right? From all the worrying and the stressors. One of the quick ways to do that is just get outside. And without music, without a book, just sitting outside in nature, staring at the trees, watching the wind, just kind of letting your brain reset from the busy mindset to just being. So I could talk about, and I have talked about burnout for hours, and I will send you more of that in the link below. But if you have any questions about burnout, self-care, or other topics that you want me to talk about, make sure to leave a comment below. Like and subscribe to my channel, Dragonfly Wellness TV, and I'll see you next week on Ask Dr. Saira. Bye!